screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good. See, here it is. Already I shared this PPTs to you. Please check once. Okay, this is yesterday we discussed about our computer block diagram, different components we use in our computer: CPU, RAM, ROM means our BIOS chip, motherboard. Motherboard connects all the components, right? Hard disk, SSDs, CD, DVD, SMPS, floppy disk, cabinets. Floppy disks are not there nowadays. Okay. And connecting like a keyboard, mouse, monitor. Okay. So this is the our computer cabinet. Okay. So we discussed like about a CPU. CPU is a brain of the computer. CPU is a microprocessor. It is a central processing unit. It's a single chip to do arithmetic and logical processing. Okay. Every CPU having a clock speed, bit width like a 32-bit, 64-bit kind of stuff, FSB, cache memory, number of cores, number of threads are a logical processing, and certain features of a processor is there. Before you do it, so please check it once. And we are discussing about primary memories, RAM and ROM. RAM random access memory, ROM read-only memory, RAM volatile memory, ROM non-volatile memory. Volatile means when power is off, automatically data in the device will be gone. Okay, ROM, it is a like a permanent memory type. It is non-volatile, means even power is off, data still be there. Okay, and very important here it is RAM, ROM, both are memories, but RAM is a changeable memory, means this RAM memory blocks are there. You can insert those memory into motherboard as per your requirement, like so as per your requirements and compatible with your motherboard and CPU. We can add memories, we can remove memories, we can replace the memory uh, RAM part. Okay. ROM is not like that. ROM is a BIOS chip on your motherboard. It is fixed chip on motherboard. So in a RAM, we have a static RAM and dynamic RAM. Static RAM is also called as SRAM, used as a cache memory, which is built inside your CPU. And as another side, it is a dynamic RAM, DRAM. Dynamic RAM is a short form is DRAM, dynamic RAM. SDRAM, synchronous dynamic RAM. DDR, SDRAM, double data rate. Okay. And DDR2, DDR3, DDR4, now DDR5 is also came into market. So what is the difference between these DDRs are? Pin numbers are different, notch is different, and the clock speed also different. The clock speed also different. Okay, operating speed is also different. So when you are choosing your RAM, also important is you must check with your processor compatible RAM and motherboard also. So speed is different and sizes availability is different. For example, you take DDR2. In DDR2, you want a 32 GB, 64 GB. That is much not available in general market. I'm talking in general market. Okay. Okay. So this is about your RAM, and of course, RAM means we have to see the size of the RAM in MBs or GBs or TBs of RAMs are there, and RAM clock speed is also there. Okay, like a 33 megahertz, 1600 or 2100, 2600. Okay, 3200. voltage levels are. So this is at all about already RAM. Dim, so dim. Dim packages, DIMM packages are regular desktop RAMs are DIMM packages. And when you see a RAM with what we can say heat sink on it, a certain RAMs are having a heat sink. That is a RIM package. That is called a RIM package, RAM bus inline memory module. For a laptops, we use a SODIMMs. For a laptops, we use SODIMMs, small outline DIMM packages, laptops and mini PCs. This is the diagram last class I explained, guys. Normally, we think we are giving input directly to the CPU. We don't give. All devices are connected and controlled by I/O controllers, like your north bridge, your south bridge. Okay, and it passes the data. It is give and take data from your RAM only. So information means instructions data loaded into your RAM, and RAM give it to cache give it to CPU process it and give it to cache to RAM. Again, ROM read-only memory. Okay, it is a permanent memory. It is when ROM chip is built, the data and instructions directly inside that circuit board only, inside that ROM internal. Okay, that it defines what it will do. Instructions and data built inside the ROM chip.
Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Naveen present. I have joined later.
Naveen came. Okay. Okay. Next. PROM chip, a programmable read-only memory. It means you will get a ROM chip. It's an empty ROM chip. You have to program it. You have to program it as per your requirement. EPROM chip. So once you are programmed in PROM chip, once you are programmed, you cannot erase it. But EPROM chip, you can erase it, but you cannot reprogram it. EPROM means EEPROM. Okay, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. Electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. What is this? It is a rewritable. Means you done a program today and completed your work is completed. What are the tasks is going on? Or maybe there is something goes wrong. You want to change it, you can change it. We are using a PROM chips only because you can put insert data. Your ROM chip is also called as a BIOS chip. Your ROM chip is nothing but a EPROM chip. It contains a program called BIOS. What is this BIOS? BIOS is a firmware or a firmware. Okay, and there is a two type of firmwares now we have. One is a BIOS, which is older and still be there. Still it is there. Next version of a BIOS is UEFI, Unified Extensible Firmware Interface. Recently, we are purchasing i3, i5, i7, okay, Pentium Gold processors, 64-bit processors. We are purchasing, right? 64-bit processor means that supporting motherboards. The mostly our BIOS chips are UEFI based chipsets only. Okay. So whatsoever it is, your BIOS is very important because BIOS is nothing but a firmware or firmware. What is the use of firmware? When you switch on your system, when you are power on your system, BIOS or a firmware tells how to boot your system. How to boot your system. Okay. So how to boot your system, that will be tells by your firmwares only. Like you switch on your mobile phone. Inside your mobile phone, there is a firmware. That firmware will tell how to turn on each and every component on and how to load that operating system, how to get the display. Okay, till user interface came up, the entire process is handled by firmware kind of stuff only. Okay, on motherboard means on motherboard by default, like you purchase a new motherboard in the on motherboard BIOS chip contains information about your motherboard. First of all, it contains information about your motherboard. Next, you insert a CPU, RAM, hard disk. Okay, so like that you put a graphic card. Like that you whenever you put a components and you turn your computer, BIOS chip get, will get all these components information. BIOS chip gets all these components information. Okay, like a BIOS chip will get a information about CPU, about RAM, your hard disk, your CD-ROM, okay, your SSD, your if you are connected any graphic card, okay, all the informations into the your BIOS chip. Okay, so when we start your computer, BIOS chip, in generally that is two methods are there, guys, two ways. Some people tell like that, some people tell other ways. But so when you start your computer, BIOS chip means your firmware verify the all primary devices, means CPU, RAM is a primary device, right? This the primary devices are working or not. If not working, next step will be stopped. If everything is good, proceed to next step on. BIOS is also help you to locate and load the operating system. Okay, helps operating system to access hardware devices. So your BIOS tells to your operating system these are the hardware devices on system. So that's make it understand. Yeah, this is the boot processing. Again, we will see the boot processing, guys. Yesterday I explained, just now little bit explanation because okay, this is a BIOS settings. Okay, so only one screen is showing, but multiple screens also there. Okay, yeah. So in a BIOS, we have a in your BIOS chip internally, as I said, a BIOS is a program, and your BIOS chip contains information about your motherboard, onboard information, your processor, RAM, hard disk, like that information, right? So this gathering of device information and store into the BIOS chip is as a temporary storage. There is a permanent storage, but this is temporary storage. And user can enable or disable the certain features of hardware through BIOS settings. So user can go to the BIOS settings, can enable or disable the certain features of hardware, or they can do certain change of configurations to protect from others, to change the configuration so they can assign a password to the BIOS. Okay, and so yeah, the BIOS chip also runs the date and time. Okay, this date and time, when you are installing operating system, it sync to that this date and time. Okay, or your operating system date and time will sync with this one. Okay, so at it runs the date and time. I'm getting my without internet. So I said yesterday, like before classes, I am getting a date and time from that time.windows.com NTP server. Okay. If I don't connect it to the if I don't connect it to the server, then you like a lot of places to be do the desktops and are in a colleges. Okay, we don't connect it to the internet always, right? But how our time and date is running, how our date and timing is running, because of it is your BIOS chip only. Okay, it runs the date and time. Once you are given the date and time, it synchronizes and it will runs the date and time. But it is also a temporary. Okay, when your power is off, no power supply to your BIOS chip, automatically the data loss, everything is resetted to the factory default. Now, how to protect it? We are using a CMOS battery, 3 volts battery. CMOS battery, it is a lithium battery, it's a 3 volts battery. Okay. Why it is called as a CMOS battery? Because that is become habituated from the starting. Okay, people are keep telling it is a CMOS battery or a BIOS battery kind of stuff, but it is not made up of CMOS technology. The battery is not made up of CMOS technology. Battery is a lithium battery. But if you go to market and say, I want lithium battery, then he don't understand. He will laugh like, what is this lithium battery kind of stuff? Okay, so you have to ask like a BIOS battery or a CMOS battery. The battery supporting to the battery, the voltage, the enough to support CMOS chipsets. That's it is called as a CMOS battery. Okay. So if in case, if this battery is not having enough power, means after few years, the battery also will be down, right? So the battery from 3 volts will be down. So like you have a battery in your remote or anything, right? So the battery after a few days, it will be gone, right? The charge will be reduced. In that cases, or you remove the battery, what happen? Your system may show an error like this. CMOS, some error. Okay. Why it is showing a CMOS checksum error? Okay. This CMOS checksum error, like this CMOS checksum bad, CMOS date and time not set. Press F1 to run setup, F2 to setup like this. Meaning is your BIOS battery, okay, is removed. Okay, like CMOS checksum error defaults loaded. This error, this error, this error. Okay, not always same, but most of the time these errors. CMOS error default loads a daytime time resetted kind of stuff. Okay, guys, CMOS battery is removed, just removed. That's it. Or a CMOS battery remove and reinserted. CMOS battery removed and reinserted. In very important is the CMOS battery charge is not there, it is completely discharged, completely discharged. For example, you take a wall clock, okay, there is a battery, okay. After a few years, like after a few months or few years, like 1 year, 2 years, the battery will be less, right? So battery charge will be down automatically. So we have to change the new battery. Okay, so this is same thing. Your CMOS battery charge is less, then it shows CMOS checksum error. These kind of errors it shows. So what is the thing we have to do it? It is so if in case it is only because of it is a CMOS means the battery related issue, we go to market and purchase this battery, or take the battery out and show the uh, to the shopkeeper, and this is the error I'm getting. This is error I'm getting. So, or show the battery, give me the battery and do it. Guys, this battery is 10 to 20 rupees only. Some people are, just whatever the thing they got it into mind, so they are putting the cost on it, like a 50 rupees, 100 rupees kind of stuff. People also there, but it is 10 to 20 rupees only. It is very cheap batteries. Most of the components are certain components are very cheaper. Okay, but people put a cost on it. So because there is no dedicated cost. And of course, I am talking in a few years back. Very recent years, the cheaper things also become very costly. So compulsory check the package and the cost on it also. Okay, guys. So when you are remove and reinsert this battery, your entire thing will go to the factory default. Means your date and time is set it back to the manufacturer date and time. Passwords will be gone. Your settings, your configurations, your enable disable kind of stuff will be changed back to the previous condition. So that's why it is better not to touch this part. Okay. Next, guys, always remember, if you forget your operating system password, you put username and password to enter into the operating system, right? You turn on your computer. Finally, you got a screen. You give the password. So then you can start using computer, right? That is operating system password, user operating system password. That password is stores the username, and password stores in the operating system only. In the hard disk only it will store. Operating system means operating system is in hard disk, right? So it stores in your operating system. These BIOS password, two type of users are there: supervisory and user password. So what is the use of this password? So if you know the password of if you know the password, then only you can able to change the settings. If you don't know the password, you cannot be able to change the settings. For that one, you have to give the password. You have to give the password. Am I confused or not confused? Okay, you have to give the password. You have to configure your BIOS and give the password for a BIOS settings. Okay. What is the purpose? If someone is come and try to change your BIOS configuration, to protect it, you are giving a password. Okay. That password stores in your BIOS chip only. Temporarily, it stores in your BIOS chip. Regularly, you are giving username and password. When you start your computer, system is booted, you're giving username and password. Now you got your operating system screen, right? Your Windows screen. That password, username, password stores in operating system. This BIOS password stores in BIOS chip. Then you remove this battery. These passwords, the BIOS passwords will be erased. BIOS passwords will be erased. But it does not affect on your operating system passwords. BIOS, CMOS clear, or removing battery and reinserting battery does not remove your operating system password. Maybe may not be having an idea of you may have an idea or not. I don't know, but compulsory. Okay. Some people will tell, olden days we remove the battery to clear the password. You clear the password of BIOS, not a operating system. Different ways to go to the BIOS settings, guys. So first of all, you have to check what is the your BIOS key from based on your BIOS model. AMI BIOS, AMI BIOS means American Megatrend Inc. BIOS. One more is there, it is Phoenix BIOS, Dell BIOS, HP BIOS, Hardware BIOS. Okay, different type of BIOS are there. Depends upon your BIOS chip, different BIOS key is there. Okay, when you start your computer, immediately start pressing BIOS key, so you can enter into the BIOS settings. You can see the date and time, you can change date and time, you can set password. Okay, you can enable, disable certain features. Example, virtualization technology type of features, you can do it. You can change the boot priorities. When you start your computer, so the BIOS is try to locate where is the operating system in the priority order. Okay, first it will check in CD-ROM, or it should be check in a pen drive, it should be check in a hard disk, like that priority. Okay, these things we can do it, and press F10 to save it, exit. Okay. This is till yesterday, guys, but I hope you got little refreshment or little bored. Okay, up to now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very
Yes, sir.
good. So we'll continue. Just motherboard. What is a motherboard? It is a main circuit board, or it is a kind of PC. All components are connected to motherboard only. Okay. So whether it is you are connecting keyboard, you are connected to motherboard. Even it is outside, but we are connecting keyboard to motherboard. Okay. We are connecting. We are inserting CPU. We are inserting RAM. We are connecting hard disk. Okay, we are connecting front panel connection, LEDs. Okay, use USB ports, graphic cards. Okay, NICs. Okay, monitors. So everything we are connecting to motherboard only. That's it is called maybe a motherboard. Okay, so these motherboards are in a different form factors. Motherboards are in a different form factors. The form factor means different size of motherboard, different shapes or different sizes of the motherboard. So earlier we have a AT motherboard, AT advanced technology motherboard, ATX motherboard, advanced technology extended motherboards, ATX motherboards, NLX, baby ATX, like a different type of form factors are there. So these are the components of motherboard, like a processor slot or a socket. Slot and or a socket. Processor slot depends upon your type of processor it is. Okay, motherboard and processor support. You take Intel processor supporting motherboard. You take AMD processor supporting motherboard. RAM slots, memory slots, expansion, IO ports, onboard chipset, north bridge, south bridge kind of stuff. Okay, SATA IDE connectors, CMOS batteries, power supply connector, heatsink, front panel connectors. These are all there. Okay, these are the different components like a RAM slot, CPU slot, north bridge, south bridge, graphic card, AGP slot, graphic card. Okay, so these are the RAM slots. This is a back panel like a PS/2 parallel connector. COM port means serial port, VGA port, USB port, and audio jacks. These are the back panel connectors connected to a keyboard and mouse. PS/2 personal system version 2. Okay. USB 2.0, 3.0, 3.1, different versions are came. Okay. VGA port, it is 15 pin connector. Okay. Serial port, LAN port, parallel port not given here, but it is a LAN port, or we can say RJ45 port. These are the back panel, generally back panel. In nowadays we are getting HDMI eSATA ports also there. Now better to go to anything like Amazon, Flipkart, search for any latest model motherboards, see their components also. Okay, this is about motherboard, guys. Next one is SMPS. What is SMPS? Switch mode
Switch mode power supply, sir.
power supply. Very good. Okay, so depends upon your motherboard. So you have to check, see, you have to purchase your SMPS. So AT type, ATX type, and other form factors. Based on that, you have to purchase your switch mode power supply. Mostly we are ATX new type. It is 24 pin direct connector like this. This is a 24 pin power supply which is connected to your motherboard. So where it is? Yeah, you can see this is a 20 pin ATX power. So in this one only means it is 24. Now new one is 24. Like you can see, this is 24 connector, and this is the additional power connector like this. So compulsory check your motherboard and SMPS, guys. 24 pin connector plus on motherboard for CPU there is a 4 pin connector, 6 pin connector, 8 pin connectors requirement is there. So compulsory check it. 4 plus 4, 4 plus 2, 4 or direct 6 or directly 8 connectors also there. Next, to connect your hard disk or CD-ROM, so we will get a power supply connectors from SMPS directly. Sometimes from certain graphic cards required additional power supply from SMPS. In that cases, so we have to verify with your SMPS whether you are having that kind of SMPS or not. Okay, the SMPS you can purchase from 500, 600 rupees to 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 rupees SMPS also there. Last time I purchased my SMPS, that is around 3,000. Okay, I am wasted almost like 1 year and not using much. I have to go to Pune. I didn't buy. I just added to. Yeah, this is lesser 1840. And this is, see, cost is different from there to here. It is 600 watts. This is 500 watts. Processor differences. See, it is i3. This is AMD. This is also 2 core processor only. Motherboard. Different motherboards. See, this motherboard LGA1200. That model means that type of processor, 10th generation processor support. Okay. This is 3230M. This is AMD AM4 socket type. AM4, it is AMD processor supporting motherboard. So this motherboard is a Intel 10th generation support. Okay, this is also 10th generation support. This is SSD. This is graphic cards. This is also 10th generation. 9th generation motherboards are not showing here. Okay, so it is there. Already I put a card now, so that's linking. Yeah, this is a 9th generation motherboard. 310M. This is my motherboard. Okay, same model only I purchased it. So it is the processor socket, the RAM slots. Okay, SSD slot is not there in this model. Direct SSD model is not there. See, as SMPS will go to this part, edge part, and here it is. So this is 8-pin power connector from SMPS. This is 24-pin connector. This is SATA cables. This is our north bridge south bridge combination. So this is BIOS battery. This is BIOS chip. Some audio chip it is. These are all back panel connections, circuits. So in this corner you can see there is a 4 LEDs. Will tell what is the error, like a RAM problem, processor problem, graphic memory problem, like that it will shows. Okay, front panel connectors. Also there. So these are the back panel connectors. It's more clear in this angle. See, SMPS connector, back panel connectors, HDMI, VGA, PSP to either keyboard or mouse, USB ports, USB, USB 3.0, LAN port, and these are all audio ports. Something I am missing here. Yeah, that's enough. In SMPS, what is SMPS? So you got a main power supply, AC power supply. For our computer, we need a DC supply. SMPS converts AC to DC in a different voltage levels. Plus 12 volts, minus 12 volts, plus 5 volts, minus 5 volts, plus 3.3 volts, kind of stuff. Okay, so each color coded for what voltage, kind of voltage you are getting. Okay, for example, the red wire represent plus 5 volts, yellow wire represent plus 12 volts, orange wire represent plus 3.3 volts, green wire represent power on. Okay, power on. So when you press the power button, the green and black wires are get shut, and then automatically you turn on your SMPS. Guys, so this is about your SMPS switch mode power supply. Next part we'll see the storage devices. So in the storage devices you have a magnetic type and optical storages. Magnetic storages means hard disks, floppy disks, tape drives, zip drives kind of stuff. And optical storage means we store the data using a laser light. Using optical storage means not a store in optics, not in a glass. We use a laser light like an optical beam. We write on the CD using a laser light. Okay, so it is a CD, DVD, Blu-ray discs are look like a same, but different capacity. CD is a 700 MB data, 700 MB data. DVD 4.7 GB data. We can store 4.7 GB data in a single layer DVD. Double layer DVD is 8 GB you can able to store. CD is only 700 MB data you can store. Okay. Blu-ray is more than 25 GB you can store. So minimum is 25 GB and more is also there. For example, if you know game stations like a PS2, PS4, PS3, so those Xbox, the gaming DVDs are actually very big size, like a 30 GB, 40 GB size also there. Why? Because it's this Blu-ray disc. Okay. Next one is floppy disks are removed from market. Now it is not there. It's a 1.44 MB data. Okay. These are the floppy disks. So 1.44 MB data, but that much small amount of data people are not using. Okay. So nowadays, if you take a photo, that is also not 1 MB. It is more than 5 MB, 6 MB, 20 MB photos are because big resolutions cameras, right? So floppy disk. Tape drives are using tape drives like a DAC drives. Uh, these are the tape drives. It's look like a olden days cassettes type only, same only, but it is different. So these categorizes, so we can store the data, mainly backup. Tape drives are used for a backup purpose. Okay. Like this is the mechanism. One is to store the backup. Second one is CC cameras are there now. CC cameras. CC camera, when you put a CC camera, so we can view what is going on outside, and also will record and store into earlier days, and still in some organizations still there are using a tape drives. Okay. And for enforcement of the CC cameras, means compulsory people should use a CC camera up in apartments and all. So people got a problem, that is the how many tape drives they will maintain, the maintenance cost increasing, right? So 1 day recording, 2 days recording is okay, no problem. Ah. Okay. So these tape drives are cassettes, which is easily we can able to store because it's cheaper. Okay, so people use nowadays people are using a hard disk to store CC camera recordings. So and that too there is a certain time limit is there. Okay, once this today means like a last week up to 1 week or up to 1 month, the recordings will be stored. So last 1 month recording available, the previous month recording will be deleted. Okay, like one day cross last 30 days means 31st day. Okay, last 31st day we cannot able to see. Okay, so like that it is. But to store a backup for a permanent backup, okay, kind of stuff like a more useful, cheaper solution for your backup is tape drives only. Not for storing regular data like operating system data, not to store operating system data or a regular data purpose, because it's a tape drive is a not a random access memory type. It is a not read only. What we can say, tape drive is like a sequential access memory, sequential memory. Okay, so once you are insert a tape drive, you think I will pick up this song and play. Now you cannot do it. Okay, so that's why tape drives are sequential type, so only we use it. Next is zip drives. What is zip drives? You know, earlier days, now it is using or not, I don't know, but okay, so it is a kind of stuff zip part. Okay, so what they will do, you know, earlier days to install an operating system into the computers, and you have a lot of computers, and each computer will take a lot of time. What they will do, they'll insert these zip drives to the computer. First of all, they take a one reference computer, they install operating system, applications and everything. Okay, then they connect this zip drive, they take a backup data to the zip drive. Okay, okay, so they copy entire system, they copy entire system, okay, into the zip drive. So they connect this zip drive to other computers, they paste into that computer, and then it automatically install. Means it will reduce the time and it speed up the process. So many places like this zip drive, magnetic medium that store 100 MB to 750 MB of data, use it to backup and to transfer the file. Backup is duplicate of file, program or a disk in case of original is lost. Okay, zip disk required zip drive, high capacity drive and read from writes to zip disk. So that much of low capacity nowadays is not useful. We got pen drives and all, external hard disk also came. Okay, so this zip drives is a high capacity, so you can use for a backup or for a restore or transfer the data people are using. Okay guys, the last one is your hard disk. Hard disk or look like this one. Okay. Next part is guys, I will take hard disk part after the small break. Okay, that's I told all other things. I'll tell about hard disk, SSD and hard disk connectivity also there. File systems are there, partitions are there. So I will explain the partitions and file systems, MBR, GPT. So that will finish the basic part of your hardware. Okay, the next part is boot processing, also we'll see. Okay, I'm stop recording.